looking to see where his wife is, because she did our first tablecloth at the WI. Damn if I can see her. There's her husband. Where's she?
That's Mrs. Wills, isn't it?
That's Mrs. Wills, that's right. Yeah.
Centre there.
Yeah.
And I know that face. That's not Mrs. Russell, is it? No.
No, that's
Or the other lady that used to live down there in those cottages. What's her name's mother?
no, it isn't. No, I'll tell you in a minute. She lived up top of the hill in the bungalow. She's in a nursing home now. Don't know whether it is Christmas or Good Friday, you know.
Yeah.
Names.
Yes, and she certainly looks familiar.
There's the one. That's the one who did. That's that one's wife.
Oh, yeah.
And she's the one who made the WI tablecloth that we've had there all these years.
One we're still using because we've got a newer one.
No, we've got a new one now.
Yes, but I remember the old one. Yes.
That, she did that.
Oh, well, that would be
And
nice.
she never really finished it because she fell out.
Oh dear.
She had a very quick temper.
Yeah.
And that was it. She never finished it.
And what was her name? Do you remember?
No,
never mind. That comes. I don't know if you've got the names on the back of that one. No, you've got names on that one.
I don't think so. No, she's
not on that one.
No, she wasn't a member of the committee, you see. That was the committee there. But, that was in 58. And that, of course, is
What we've got to do is a plan of that and make sure.
That's the 21st. And Terry cut it.
Oh, that was nice.
And I had to come back here to live to tell him it was the 21st.
21st.
I had no idea when it started until I came back.
Yes, I must have been there for that.
So I decided I'd have one of those to put it with the 21st.
That's right.
I shan't survive for the 50th, but still.
Go on with you. Yes, that would be nice to borrow that one. And what I'll have to do is make sure I know
who's who.
Who's who.
I've got the names of all those on there.
Right, it's Steve Jenkins, President. Mrs. Thomas, I didn't know. That's the only one I don't know.
Nellie Thomas. She lived in she lived where next door to the vicarage. You know that bungalow that one of our members lives in now?
Oh, Barbara Lear.
Barbara Lear.
Yes,
Where Barbara Lear lives.
Oh,
that's where she lived.
Oh, I'll probably be able to do a chart and identify those. The names are all on the back, so
good.
I think I can identify.
That's
right, so it's WI, so there's a first birthday, 25th birthday.
21st birthday.
21st birthday. So and the first one, and that was the first social.
That was the first party.
First party. So
we used to have an evening party.
That one isn't dated, is it? So what year was that one? That's 1958.
That's 58, so that would be 59.
So probably 58, 59
59,
anyway.
Yes.
I'll just write that in light pencil across.
That's all right. Sometimes I put things on the back and sometimes I forget all about it, you know.
Yeah, that's easy to do. Well, we can identify some of those and it would be nice to display those, so if there's any we can't remember, somebody will know.
Yeah.
That makes a time.
Oh yes, someone will, you know, it's amazing how people pick out ones they know.
That's right.
Now this was, this is to do with the Dramatic Society. These were the members.
Oh, right.
And there's some here that you probably know, and some you won't. There's Barbara Snell. There's in fact, yeah.
Yes, because I brought with me, if you, perhaps they're pictures you've got anyway, but Barbara did have some of the Quiet Weekend production.
Yes, I got them
That's what
there.
you probably had.
And there's Barbara, and there's Maureen Woods.
Oh yes, I can recognise
and Doris Harvey.
Yes.
And there's her husband Roy.
Yes.
And that was the Reverend Tagg.
Yeah.
And he was marvellous.
Wasn't he tall?
He was tall.
Very
yes,
tall.
he was tall. And that she was called Smith. She lived down the
the mill.
down at the shop. Her father and mother had the shop down there.
What's now the post office? Or
yes, that's right. Yeah. Yes, they had the post office. Margaret Gregg, she worked down at the shop.
That's right. She used to live in the bungalow opposite.
That's right, and she had a leg off.
Yes, do you know, it's funny, once or twice I wondered what happened sort of about her, because I remember her not being well or having a problem, and not sort of really sure, because they had a son as well, didn't they?
Yes, that's right, yes.
Yes.
She had her leg off. I don't know why, I'm sure. And that was...
that's Miss Maynard,
Miss Maynard.
Yes,
yes,
I just remember Miss Maynard. You didn't remember her?
No.
You couldn't. She used to go around in a black A30, didn't she? Black A30 car.
Yeah.
She used to drive around in.
That's right.
I remember her quite clearly.
Yes. She died in a nursing home out on Mutley Plain.
That's right,
She was blind, she was deaf.
Because she was the one who was a school teacher.
That's right, she was head teacher. I don't know, I think Sam Rogers had gone, Sam and Ivy Rogers. He was the treasurer at the church at the time. But he'd gone before you came.
And who was this?
That's me.
That's you?
That's me, yeah.
It's funny actually, because even on that other play photograph, I actually found you quite difficult to recognise.
Yes, I was about 15, 16 stone then.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've lost a bit of weight since then.
Well, I went down from that down to 9.5, but that was to do with the thyroid. But, and so that was it.
Right, so who was...
Now, I can't remember his name, but he wasn't in the... He didn't come in the show. He was one of the one of the backroom boys who helped to do the stage. We had some very good helpers there, and they built the stage in the village hall because there was no stage there.
Yeah, I wondered about that.
So they got all the things.
Because this is the old hall, isn't it?
Yes, this is the old hall, and we had to build our own stage before we could do anything. And they were all very good, you know, they worked very, very hard. Mrs. Densom again, she wasn't a member, but she just came along for the trip. We actually
It was like Torquay, wasn't it?
It was Torquay. We went up to the pavilion because we were doing Lord Richard, no, we were doing Rookery Nook, and they did Rookery Nook up there.
Oh, right.
So we went up to get an idea about it, because we were green as grass when we started. That was the crowd. Some of them were in it, and some of them were backroom boys, you know.
Who's that? Ah, no.
That was her mother, and she lived up in Knighton Cottages, but she's dead now. Of course, such a lot are.
Who was that?
That's another lad from the village. I can't remember his name, but Barnes. It was called Barnes. He lived down at on the way down to the beach. Sidney Barnes.
We'll have to try and perhaps I'll go through them again in a minute, and we'll perhaps go through, try and do a name plan.
See if I can see. No, that's Quiet Weekend. That one.
Probably the pictures Barbara have are probably the same. I think.
Yeah.
Yes, that's,
that's Lord Richard. Noted. That's Quiet Weekend.
I'll just have
Rookery Nook. That's a Rookery Nook.
Right, so we haven't got Rookery.
Quiet Weekend. That's a Quiet Weekend.
Right, let's see.
That's Rookery Nook. That's Rookery Nook. That's Lord Richard. Lord Richard. Lord Richard.
There's on the back.
Lord
Okay,
Richard.
right, yes.
That's Quiet Weekend. Quiet Weekend. Quiet Weekend.
Well, perhaps they're not the same pictures. Borrow them all for the
You can
moment.
borrow them all
I
for the
promise I
moment,
won't get them
and,
muddled up.
You can, you see there's Roy Harvey, there's Doris, there's Sidney Barnes, there's Maureen Wood. That was our chief, what do you call it, builder, our chief scenery builder and stage builder. There's Maynard Wynne and Dennis Horwell.
That's Barbara.
Barbara, and that's Somerville. There's the vicar. There's me.
Yes, funny if I see you on there.
There's what do you call it? I forget his name. He was a naval bloke, lived next door.
They were jolly good sets. I was most impressed. They
we
were
built them ourselves, and it's our furniture we took.
Yeah.
We furnished it, and then we got our furniture back when we finished. But, see Doris Harvey there. You know what she's like now.
Yeah.
You know, she was like a human pull through then.
Yeah. But I was trying to work out how old Barbara must have been very young.
Oh yes, it was many years ago now.
1950 something, wasn't it? Early 50s. 1957. Oh, 50, I thought it was
50,
51.
51.
Yes, I said I thought it was only 51.
Yeah, well that's Quiet Weekend, and that's the piece of what it says.
That's the newspaper.
That's a newspaper cutting with that.
Perhaps we can photocopy that and enlarge it because it'd be easier for people to read if it's enlarged.
And I don't seem to have what do you call it for that?
Training.
Well, Barbara got a programme for that, so we
She's got a programme for that, and I seem to have mislaid mine.
Right, oh, well, perhaps we can photocopy.
No, this is Lord Richard in the pantry. Now, the vicar.
Lord Richard in the pantry.
Lord Richard in the pantry. Was Jack Priest. Called himself Jack Priest. But he acted, he did all the programmes, he stage managed, he was marvellous, he really was. He was second in all England for elocution, so he was no fool, but
he lived in the village?
Pardon?
Did he live in the village?
He lived up the old vicarage up at Thorn.
Oh, cool. Kerry was now Kerry made it.
Kerry's bought it when he left.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Lord Richard in the pantry. It sounds lovely.
It's a farce by Samuel French.
Yeah.
It's,
there's
me. I was the bougie cook, you see. And there we are. I was all the time making up to him, you know. I thought he was lovely. His lordship, really, you know. And then here was the girls. Doris.
Maureen again and Doris,
Maureen,
isn't it?
Yes.
Who was the middle one?
God, I can't remember now. Yeah. And there he is in the... I haven't done me long with that. That's the booze up down the pub. The Christmas. Yeah, those four are that with that.
That one.
That's that one.
Yeah, you've got all the names listed on there actually.
That's Quiet Weekend, yes.
That's a Quiet Weekend.
Maybe one or two of those.
With that one.
I couldn't remember, yes, but the names of the cast.
Oh yes, the names here, yes. Roy, Margaret, Greg, Patricia, Somerville, Barrow. Oh, this is Quiet Weekend one now. But I might have it in here. Oh, wait a minute, there, let's see.
Was that Roper the one that owned Roper's Field?
No.
No.
No, Reg Roper, that's the bloke that I said I couldn't remember his name. He was the bloke who did the, what do you call it? McLaurie was the naval bloke who lived next door, that's right. And that's them. But then...
See, that's Yabsley's Builders again. I ought to have brought that photograph. Dorothy might have meant something. I mean, I know it's very old, but it might have had something to do with it.
Where have we got the Rookery Nooks?
No.
Quiet Weekend. Oh, you got them all mixed up. Rookery Nook.
Do you do one play a year, or?
Yes, we could only do one a year, and then we used to take it all over the place. You know, they used to ask us out in other villages to take it, and we did. Oh, we were famous. We really were. And this is Rookery Nook. And that person there is Doreen Morris's mother. And she only had to say one word, and she forgot it every time when we said it for her.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Oh, she probably looked the part if nothing else.
She did. She enjoyed it. She used to come. Yes. Gertrude Twine. She was the owner of the house, you see. She was the Lady Locklight. There she is. And I was Mrs. Leverett, the char. And Sam Rogers, there, he was the butler. And that's right, Rookery Nook. And then Jack Priest, there he is, vicar. Dennis Horwell, where are you? There. And Joe McLaurie, Raymond Brown, and Maureen Wood, there. Maynard, me, and
What's Barbara?
Barbara. Yeah. You've got her down there, Barbara. Oh yes, there. Mary Cole was doing it, and then Barbara came in on that one. So, and these two are the main builders of the scenery and the stage and everything. My plaque's up. So that was. Those were those.
There are actually two in 50, which is that one in March and this one's in October.
Oh yes, this one's in March. Well, when we sort of gone through, we'd have another go, you know. What ruined it was I had Nicola, and I was very ill. And it was only a case of all we had, you know, we had one person for one part. You know, it wasn't a big thing at all. Sent the whole thing. What do you call it? Here's the. That's the Rookery Nook.
Because Rookery Nook were around for a long time in London, didn't they?
Yes, it was a very good one.
Yes, I don't think I did.
That was our.
Seen that one.
What do you call it?
The pictures next.
The vicar. Okay, yes, he did all that.
Well, that was the first time.
That was the first one we ever did.
Well, you've got some good ideas from going to Torquay as well, by the sound of it.
Well, it gave us an idea how to go ahead on it, you know. And I might tell you, we had to fight tooth and nail to get that going. There were certain people in the village tried to stop us from doing it and all, because they tried it and couldn't. And we kept on, and we did it. And
You were just a group of people who got together. You weren't affiliated to anything else.
No, we weren't affiliated to anything. There was nothing to be affiliated to in those days, because there was no WI or anything. No. We were just the Wembury Dramatic Society. That's what we called ourselves. And that's the Lord Richard in the Pantry. That's that one. And this is the Quiet Weekend.
Artist was Barbara Snell.
Yeah. Yeah, Barbara was pretty young there. That's the that's a Quiet Weekend. I put all them in there because they're getting a bit
getting a bit fragile, aren't they?
A bit fragile now.
But we'll probably do photocopy those.
Yeah, we'll get them on a piece of paper.
Yes.
Put them back in the envelope.
Yes.
They'll be safer there.
Photocopy them and then they won't get damaged. That's smashing.
When we had that, I was pregnant, you know. I started being pregnant and I was ill all the time. I never did learn the last act. I did on pieces of paper and books I had to pick up and look at. I had all my part. All over the ruddy stage my part was. Carried it off though.
Good for you.
Nobody knew. This is
right,
these are every Christmas we used to take the little organ up to the pub and we'd have a Christmas do. We'd start off singing carols. The vicar would take the service, you see, and we'd finish up singing anything but carols, you know, all the Lugar songs and all we'd finish up with, you know. But that was the old.
That carried on for quite a long time, I think, because they were still doing that when we came.
Yeah, we used to have a good time. Back there's Dougie Butler. You can just see.
Oh, that's him in the corner there.
Yeah, there's Henry. That's a bit of him. And that was old Milden. He lived down at down near Booth Farm. And this bloke used to come out from Plymouth. That was old Lou Thomas. He could drink a pint. His speciality was he'd drink a yard of ale. After this, you see, he always drank the yard of ale. Henry always did the bobbing up and down like this with a pint pot on his head, you know, that was their speciality.
Christmas party pieces.
And this bloke was he had the post office over at Down Thomas, Eddie White. And that's Mr. Mountjoy. this is Annie there, Lottie's sister. And there we have
That's the Reverend Tag again, isn't
that's
it?
the Reverend Tag again.
Mm.
This is a Christmas wish drive at the village hall. But that's Doreen Morris's brother there, and there's Doreen's sister's husband. And that's Jack Webber. You see his name on the plate.
Remember Jack?
What do you
Yeah,
call
I
it?
reckon.
It's Jack. And this is the prizes. That's in the new
That's the
village
new
hall.
hall.
New
That's
hall.
the new
Mm.
village hall, that is.
So what sort of date, because that one you haven't dated, what sort of date would that be?
Oh,
In the early
I
50s,
don't know.
presumably.
I should think so.
I don't know how long Jack
Well,
Webber
the new hall was
Oh no,
56.
56 the new hall was.
It's got to be post now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably around the 60s. Mervyn was quite young then.
Mm.
And this is,
Something like that. Just put 1960s in question mark.
doesn't say what date this is, but that's when, there's Tiny. This is down at the school, one of their little
Ah,
plays.
this is in the old school, obviously.
That's down in
This
the
is-
old
yes,
school,
but this is
that
what we were
is.
looking for, some more
Yes.
pictures of the old school.
Here's the old thing round the
That's-
boiler, you see.
That's a good picture actually, the inside of it, isn't it?
Oh, that's, I don't know what Tiny was, but he certainly looks angelic there.
It does, doesn't
yes,
it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it does.
absolutely.
Peggy Hart always looks at him, she says, oh, anything so beautiful when it was young can grow up to be so bloody ugly now.
That's a nice thing.
Oh, Auntie Peg, he says. And there's some more.
That's nice, isn't it? Can't remember who any of the other children were.
No, I bet you
Somebody will know.
Doris
I'll
Harvey
say
would
Doris
probably
would know,
know.
wouldn't
She
she?
would probably know. If I say to Peter, my Peter would know. He would pick them all out. But
And how old do you say he is? Tiny is now?
well,
He's
he's 48 now.
48.
48, 49 now.
So he was what, about 7 or 8 years?
Yes,
there?
I should think so, because he's
So-
in the small class there, you see.
Mm. So that's about 40 years ago.
Yeah. Oh yes.
So that's
all
about
that.
1953.
And,
54, isn't it? 53, 54.
This one, before that, there's my Jim and Miss Maynard and Mrs. Russell.
So Mrs. Russell, she's retired, I think.
She retired. She went up to the new school with them.
Yes, that's right.
And then
I'd
she
forgotten
retired.
she actually taught.
No, she didn't
She
teach.
didn't
No,
teach.
she was a school. She was a school caretaker.
That's right, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lovely
Yes,
person she
mm.
was. And there's our Jim, and that lad there.
Oh yes, that's...
He lives up Rose Cottage now. And he's very thin
Well, this
and got a
one or that one?
moustache, and I never knew him. This one here, who's the big fat
Oh.
guy.
Mm.
Yeah.
And he lives in Rose Cottage.
He lives in Rose Cottage now. Yeah.
I didn't know who lived there now because somebody called Paul bought it and then they sold it again and I've never
Mm.
known who bought it afterwards.
I can't think of his name. His father worked for Millbay Laundry. I knew the fathers and mothers, but
Well, this is it.
that's our Jim.
Mm.
Our Jim's got all curly hair now, but in those days it used to stand up. It was straight as a line. It stood up. He was double crowned, you know.
Mm.
He always looked like a well-thatched rick, that boy did.
So that was down in the playground at the old
That was
school?
down at the playground in the old school.
Mm.
This also is in the playground of the old
I
school
don't know
before they
that one.
came
No.
up.
What sort of date is that one then?
Jim now is 55, and Jim then, well, he
Late
was,
40s, wasn't it?
he was in Miss Maynard's class, because that's Miss Maynard's photograph.
Mm.
See, that isn't
Oh,
Florence. So he would be about 8, I suppose, there.
47.
Yeah.
And then just post-war then? Oh, 47.
And this is more up in the modern, what do you call it? This is my last one, Nicola. There's Nicola. And Mr. Ellis. But Ruth Wood isn't there.
No,
Ruth
because-
must have been taken with her class, you
That's
say.
right. Well, Ruth has lent us some photographs, so
But that's Mr. Ellis, and that's our Nicola's class when she was down there. Well, she's what now, 46, I think. So, yes.
that's about 1950. 54.
54.
No. No, well, perhaps she's...
Oh, it might have been a later print, I suppose.
Probably if you've got any from Ruth Wood, you might have the
Yeah.
sister one to that.
No, it's the date on the back of it. It's got 1961 on the back of it.
Oh, well, that's probably it then.
Well,
Right.
how old is she there? Do you think she's about 10?
It was
She's...
she's in the top. She's in the top class.
So she'll be about 10 or
she'll
11.
be about 10. Mm.
Sorry, what?
Because she's still.
Say she's how old now?
She's 46 now.
She's 46 now.
46
I think.
now.
That's 36 years ago.
So.
Yes, that doesn't quite add up, does it?
Yeah, maybe you've got a print later. You know, have a second print made.
Must be unlikely. Oh, I see, because Mrs. Wood maybe and
Ruth
Mrs. Wood
prob-
taught.
No, she didn't
She
teach.
didn't
No,
teach,
she
she
was a.
was
Six, I think. So yes.
That's about 1950.
I think she took the exam for Plimpton Grammar before she left here and was hopeless.
No, well, perhaps she's...
Oh, it might have been a later print, I suppose.
Probably if you've got any from Ruth Wood, you might have the
Yeah.
sister one to that.
No, it's the date on the back of it. It's got 1961 on the back of it.
Oh, well, that's probably it then.
Well, how old is she there? Do you think she's about 10?
It was.
She's...
She's in the top. She's in the top class.
So she'll be about 10 or
she'll
11.
be about 10. Mm.
Sorry, what?
Because she's still.
Say she's how old now?
She's 46 now.
She's 46 now.
46
I think.
now.
That's 36 years ago.
So.
Yes, that doesn't quite add up, does it?
Yeah, maybe you've got a print later. You know, have a second print made. I suppose.
Must be unlikely. Oh, I see, because Mrs. Wood maybe and
Ruth
Mrs. Wood
probably.
taught.
Ruth could probably nail it.
That doesn't really matter.
Because I think it wasn't very long after that we went down to Plimpton, because Nicola was still in the. Well, I think she took the exam for Plimpton Grammar before she left here and was hopeless. And she went down there, and they put her in with a stream that had missed the, what do you call it? And well, just she was the first one who failed, sort of thing.
Yeah,
so she'd come on ever so much, because of course there was only 2 classes down here. At Plimpton there were lots of classes, you know, one age, one class sort of thing. She came on very much, but she was top of the comprehensive all the way through. And of course she did very well. But when she left, I got the letter somewhere now that he wrote. He said what a lovely girl she was. No, sweet, but she would never set the Thames on fire. She would never amount to anything. You can never tell, can you?
Sure.
This goes further back again. This is my husband
Gracious.
with his mother and father and his 2 sisters down on Wembury Beach.
Oh,
I don't know
lovely.
if that's any
Oh, well done.
any what do you call it to it.
The costumes there are lovely, aren't they? So.
That's that.
Right, so that's Henry.
That's Henry. And what he used to do, there used to be Chinamen down there then, you know, and they used to catch crabs, and he used to be over around them. His mother used to say, "Now, Henry, you're not to go out of my sight." She used to take off that sailor's hat, put it on a rock, and disappear.
This was his 2 sisters, you said?
Those
His
are
mother
2
and
sisters,
father.
mother and father.
Father, yes.
And his elder sister Lucy and Hilda, the younger one. This one is 10 years older than Henry, so Henry's 83, she's 93, and she comes 5 years in between them.
They alive still?
Yeah.
That's about the end of the First World War, isn't it? Trying to date that. Henry's 83, you see?
Henry's 83.
It's 1911.
I should think that was about. I should think he was about
6, 7 now.
about 6-year-old.
Yeah. So it's just about 1918, something like that.
Yeah. They used to go out there in a pony and jingle.
Yeah. You were living in the village then? Or?
I wasn't.
No.
I wasn't
he
born
was,
then.
sorry, his family, I should say.
No, they lived at Plymstock. They had a house at Arreston on Staffold Hill.
Yeah.
Mm.
So about 1918.
Then,
19
I
to
don't
20.
know if any of
That's
these in
lovely.
here are of any interest to you. Not them. It's just. That's a farm one. I can get that out if you want. This is when we were farming. This is the old-fashioned way of farming. Me in the Home Guard, and then there's some more.
I found a little bit about the Home Guard on the Silver Jubilee hall minutes, where they were going to have renting the hall for some new recruits, I think, for training new recruits.
Oh. Well, they had some very good recruits. They had a bloke with one leg from the Royal Company.
That sounds good material.
They had Ian up the pub, and another bloke that lived up here, and he was one of those, you know, and he was 3. And my Henry was the sergeant of all this lot. And I said, my God, if the Germans had landed.
I often think Dad's army wasn't too far from the truth.
No, it wasn't. Leisure, the farm. If you wanted, you know, to show what farming used to be.
Oh, rather, yes, please.
There they are again. That's another one of that. This was Henry when he was a
that.
lad, when he was bigger then. This was down at his home down at Arreston. This, of course, was during the war.
Where was the farm?
The farm we had was over at Gabber first, and then we went over to Old Barton. But this is funny there. He used to come around with us, and he'd do anything for us. And when we went out, this was Jim, and he used to carry Jim everywhere. And one day I said to him, what did you do in Civvy Street? He said, oh, I drove the car. I said, you drove what car? He said, the getaway car. But he was ever such a good bloke. I never knew what happened to him. Of course, they used to, you know, draft it off, and that's it. I never knew anymore. That was him. But,
So
anyway.
you were wondering which farm Henry's family had at Plymstock?
No, Henry didn't know. His
no.
father was a solicitor.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Right, so these were your farm?
These were our farm.
Oh, right.
And,
so these were at Gabber, were they?
These were at Gabber. And the one back
Is that
here...
where the Queens are now?
That's, yes. Bloke there, that's Stanley Thornton, who was the grave digger and so on down at the church for so long. He worked for us. And I don't know what he was really called, but we used to call him Dickie Dido.
No.
That was Dickie Dido, and there's Henry.
So were these taken on the farm as well?
Yes, these
so
are all
those
in
were
the
on
farm.
Gabber Farm?
They're all on Gabber Farm. These are the piggeries. So that's what kept the Germans out of Wembury, I'll tell you. With a bloke with a wooden leg and...
Dear oh dear.
Where did they meet?
Pardon?
Where did they parade or whatever?
Oh, at
Down Thomas?
Down Thomas.
Oh.
Because Giles was the
Yes.
the lieutenant. Oh, and Henry had 2 lads in his, and their father kept a gunnery shop in Plymouth. They were dead shots too. They were only about 14, but by God they were keen. If they saw an airplane, they started letting off at it. But when we did have the big scare that the Germans were landing, I always thought it was bad because Giles, everybody had to go on parade. So Henry said, well, you better leave, you had to leave one for a runner by the telephone. Henry said, well, you better leave one of the lads. Oh no, says Giles, I'll stay home. Nothing to do with it. This is, we got a place up at Shell.
You've still got that?
Oh yeah, yeah, we were up there on Sunday. It's all altered now. But we were up there Sunday, my grandson took us out. Where's the other one that we had? Oh, they were further on,
yes,
were
I
they?
think so.
Yes. See my Henry?
Yeah, isn't it?
He wasn't in the Marines.
No.
No, that was one of the Gilbert and Sullivans.
Oh. Mm.
And they used to say, Henry, stand there, you look attractive. But don't for God's sake open your mouth and let any sound come out. That's me, girl guide.
Oh.
Little tenderfoot, 11-year-old.
Mm.
Blinking neck.
Well, Flintstock. Yeah,
Flintstock, first
Mm.
Flintstock. Yeah, I finished up lieutenant, as usual.
So that's, you know,
That's
that's
the-
snapshot.
That's the snapshots of them. I mean, you can pick them over and there they are.
Yes.
There they
Yeah.
are. That's
Yes,
my
it does.
niece, or Henry's niece
Mm.
there. She's dead. She died of cancer when she was 50. That's that one's daughter. That's Peter when he was in the Navy. That's Wembury Bells there. But we were down at
Wembury Bells. Is that?
Nellie Thomas, Ivy Rogers, Maureen Humphreys and me. We were down at, what's the castle on the island?
Nicholas Mount?
Yeah, no, there's, I forgot I had that one. That's the old village hall.
Mm.
There is Jack Webber. That's Douglas, Sally Spencer's mother,
Yeah.
Mrs. Spencer.
Mm.
That's Margaret Adams. There's me. And there's Ted Ball. And I can't think who else it was, but that's committee from the old village hall there.
Oh, right.
I forgot that
Mm.
was there. You bung them in and then...
So what were the Wembury Bells? Just 4 young ladies, or were you a dance team or something?
Oh no! We were on the Mothers Union outing. Don't sit down. We were
Well, you should give yourself a name. I thought
well,
perhaps
yes,
you,
we were the Wembury
performed or something.
Bells, you see, in those days. You can get little bells like that.
Yeah.
Who's that in?
That's my father, my
Yeah.
mother, and me. And me.
Mm.
And there's me with my great aunt.
Yeah.
This is me when I was about 4. No, that's just after I was married, that is.
Mm.
But this is when I was about 14. I look older there than I do now. No, that's Jim. There's his cousin. And there's his other cousin. And that was his birthday cake. The week after we cut his.
Smashing costumes you see in these.
Yes, you do. Oh, there he is. There's
They're
Jim
nice
cutting
size
his first
pictures,
cake.
because so many of the pictures of that period are just the very tiny
Tiny
snaps on
ones,
there.
yes.
Most of my parents are only very small.
Yeah, this is birthday, Sunday school treat. This is up to Torquay. There's Peter. There's Nicola. There's Angela. And that's, I'll think of her name in a minute too. You know her. Denson.
Is it?
Nina.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's my husband when he was a rugger player. There he is.
Mm.
Which team's that?
Argham.
Mm.
Argham. There he is. There he is. To be a rugby forward, eh?
Mm.
You see him now, poor love.
Mm.
It breaks my bloody heart.
Yes,
You see it now. So, well, that's of any interest to you. This was the newsletter. I don't know how the hell I come to keep this. This was the Wembury newsletter. This is what started off.
All right, now I've seen some copies of this, but
Yeah.
I've only got 1 or 2 odd copies. So
Well, I don't know whether
that one.
that.
Because remember Mrs. Burroughs' sister had an unmarried sister. What was her name? Miss something.
Yes,
Used to
Miss
live at the
somebody.
top- lived at the top of Southend Park, and when she died, there were a few papers and pictures left, and they went via Ken Gray. I think they passed on to him, and he passed them on to me for local history. And I've got
Yeah.
a few, but and 1 or 2. I haven't seen that one.
The Jessops are mentioned there. Mrs. Waters, Mrs. Hamling, and Mr. Smith. I can't remember Commander and Mrs. May. I can't remember. I can't bring that back. But that was interesting. Muriel Hocking, the sister of Mrs. Sargent. She was retarded, and she used to come up from Plymstock to be with her sister. And there's a bit about Mr. and Mrs. Maxted and Mrs. Ayres. Of course, Captain Ayre was the chairman of the village hall, and he was instrumental in building the new village hall. The only thing was, he was paymaster captain in the Navy, and he had all the money we made invested in yes, that's right. And when we come to draw them out, they weren't worth what we put in. And that's why we had to go to the Carnegie Trust to get money to help us to build the village hall.
Yes,
That was the new
Doug was
hall.
talking
That
about
was the new hall, yes. And but he was a marvellous man, and all through the war, you know, and all after the war, when all the rationing was on, we used to have various things up there. Well, there's something on every night of the week, and we women, we made cakes every time. That's what that damn new hall was built on, our cakes, you know. And he used to get we used to get an allowance of sugar and margarine and tea. And each time the case would come down from Four Corners, there would be a £1/4 pound of sugar and a £1/4 pound of margarine. There wouldn't be a speck over or speck under, you know. But that was what you had to play with. You had to make as much as you could with that, you see. But he was marvellous, you know, he did all that. He was very, very good. And Mr. and Mrs. Rowe of Hollycombe, she was a member of the committee for, well, until she went from here. But, you know, you might find some things in there that you may be glad of. So,
yes, thank you very much.
You can take that one with you. I think, I don't know what this is. That, I expect you've got that.
I've got to go back through my Flower Festival pictures, yes, I don't know, you haven't dated. Because that's the trouble, I've got mine and I've got them on, they're not updated.
Wembury Garden Society, there's Bowen
Mrs.
there.
Bowen, yes.
There are Nicola and her first husband and Peter. And Mary Jones. I don't know who the other two are. But,
it'd be quite nice to put those in because I don't think I've got any photographs. I mean, when we boys used to put their entries in, but I don't think we've got any.
No. Well, if you like to take that, that's the whole damn paper. You might
yes,
to look through it, and you may see something else. Yes, it's the
I don't think I've got many local things that we've lived here.
Henry kept it. I mean, I throw everything away. He kept it because Nicola was in it. So, if
and you've got the early Flower Festival, the early 70s, mustn't it?
Well, I think so. Yeah.
Bobby and
yeah, Bobby Treher was there.
Yes, and Bobby's looking quite brown there still. She hasn't gone grey.
Marjorie Rose.
Yeah. I have got some photos. I haven't posted big photos of all the flower festivals, but I've got some of them. It'd be great for the whole things, because this is the trouble. I mean, you can go through the minutes of the halls and find interesting bits in the minutes, but when people come to look at an exhibition, it's really pictures they want to look at.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
People they recognise and
That's
themselves.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Who is that?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's
great.
a
Make sure we'll put your initials on all those. Make sure they don't get muddled up with anything. I made a
You
list.
can put it all in there if you like.
Yes, okay.
I made a list of the names that are on the war memorial. I didn't know whether you did remember anything about
Tony Eyre.
any.
I've been thinking, but really, the likes of Tony Eyre, he was at school or college, you know, and I think he hadn't very long left before, you know, sort of he was a schoolboy, and then he was in the
that was Captain Eyre's son.
Captain Eyre's son, yes, Tony.
So he was obviously killed.
Yes, he was killed. And Florence Easterbrook. I don't know what she was in, but she lived up at Hollycombe. And
they've just interred somebody else into her grave.
Have they?
Which we found out was her husband.
This is the one that's outside in the graveyard, isn't it?
Yes.
This is the one that's outside in the graveyard.
Yes. Yes, there's one that's got a war
Graves Commission grave.
Commission grave.
Yes.
Yeah.
somebody's been interred in there with her anyway, and I did ask, and I've forgotten her now what the vicar said.
No, I can't remember him.
So that name didn't mean anything.
I can't remember him. But the two Hingstons, one of those was in the Burma. He was killed. Died.
Were those brothers or father and son?
They were brothers. They're from Down Thomas.
Because one of those was had the band, didn't he? Was it a dance band before the war? It used to play in the
Where?
Down Thomas in the Silver Jubilee Hall.
No. Our band was a twosome. Gerald Smith used to play the drums, smoking his pipe, and what the hell?
Wells,
yes,
played.
Ted Wells.
Yeah.
He played the piano.
Right, I thought looking through those minutes there was some Hingstons involved in it early on, pre-war
something
years.
to do with the building, I think, and setting up. But during the war, of course, they were gone. They were in the army, you see, then. And Gerald Smith was our farm labourer, and Ted Wells was Giles's farm labourer, you see, so they were there permanently. And the family that Gerald Smith was, they sort of ran the village hall, you know, the mothers and fathers and sisters and aunts sort of thing, you know, they did the, they kept the whole damn thing going. They did the door, they did the refreshments, they did everything. But, and they did it very well too.
I thought one of those had been in there, perhaps I got it wrong.
But the hall was built 12 months before I got married. It was built in 35 and I was married in 36. And so I didn't really know, but Henry said, you know, Giles gave the ground for it to be put on, and the slates on the roof came from John, what do you call his father? John and Mary Harm over at Lewis Andrews. Lewis Andrews. He gave the slates, they came off one of his barns. And he gave the slates for the roof. But Henry told me that.
Yes, somebody else had mentioned the slates.
Yes, the slates came from him. Yes. But the Averys, they did a lot for, they did a lot for that. And Donald Loram. Now, I can't remember.
That was Joyce's brother.
That's Joyce's brother, and I think they wanted him to become a teacher the same as Joyce. They were very clever. And those two, they were very handsome lads, you know. It's a damn shame. Mather, I remember the name, but I can't remember. I think he came from Down Thomas way. Or did he? Mackay, Sid Mackay came from Down Thomas. Albert Newton, he was the son of the bloke who had the pub. No, that's Albert Newton is what do you call it? Brother. They had the Star Garage.
Yeah, that was the one Peggy was talking about this morning.
Yeah, Albert Newton.
Right, so he was the son, or the...
He was the son of the
owner of...
The owner of Star Garage. And his sister lives down to Haybrook Bay.
The one who ran the coaches and the buses up to
that's right.
when Hart's
up
took
to
it over.
when Tom Hart took it over.
Yeah.
And his sister lives down at...
oh, well, that's the one that Peggy talks about, who gave a lot of advice on that on that transport book, Mrs. Newton. Yeah, she
that's
did.
right.
Tall lady, tall
that's right.
slim lady.
Yeah, that's right.
She did come to the last exhibition. Yeah, so that's it. Her, yes, brother of, but what a Christian name is. Begins with an E, I think.
Yeah. Elsie.
Yes, could be.
Elsie.
Yes, I think it is Elsie Newton.
Elsie Newton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that sort of.
Rushbrook, that was father of my boy's mates. Biddy Rushbrook's husband, that was. He had, I think he left a couple of kids. She married again. She married 3 times, really. But he married he wasn't originally a Wembury lad, but he married a Wembury girl, you know. George Sly, that was Edna's brother. He went to school with me. He went in the Navy.
Yeah, we got a picture of him from Mary, didn't we?
Yes, I think we've got some information from there.
This one, Arthur Spreet, he was the one who was killed in the, what do you call it, on the, with the Japanese.
Christopher Watkins.
Spreet.
What, out in Burma?
Out in Burma. He didn't come home. Edward Wilcox, that was the son of the pub owner over at over at Down Thomas.
New Inn.
New Inn, yes.
Lisa Muscle.
Yes, the Muscle now. It was a New Inn. He just got married before he went, and baby was on the way. Poor old Anne. And Willingham, Albert Willingham. I know the name, but I can't put a face to him at the moment. I think he came from this side.
Which Milden was that?
Frank was it wasn't Auntie Annie. Yes, it was. It was one of Auntie Annie and Uncle Sam's boys. Milden, I think that was, I think he was brother to Ted Milden up here. I think so, because there's 2 lots of Mildens.
Yes, that's right.
But I think that was Ted's brother. But Doris Harvey could put you straight on that one. But it's so long ago now.
Yes, it's a long time ago, isn't it?
So much happened in between, you know. That you get.
It wasn't one of the Hingstons you thought was out in Burma?
No.
No,
it was Spreet, because he, his wife, she married again, and he had a son, and his wife married again, and they lived up in the first council house up here. And that's where her husband died.
Yes, I don't know if anybody, well, it's obviously these First World War ones, I mean, I don't know if anybody's found out any of those. I mean, that presumably was Archie Walk's relative somewhere along the line, whether it was...
Archie Walk was probably Mrs. Walk's husband, which is quite feasible, but she married the bloke who worked for us and was the sexton down the church.
So do you think that was Archie's father?
I think that's Archie's father there.
I thought it possibly
Yes,
was.
I think that's who that is. Edgar Giles, I think, is related to Captain Giles. And the Blackmores lived down here in one of these cottages, and one of them was a very old man when we were over at Gabber, and he used to go around with the telegrams. She delivered the telegrams. Blackmore, but I don't know.
Post office was here then.
The post office was on the end, on the end there. So
it's probably a relative of theirs.
It is a relative of theirs. I should think of that era, because he was a very old man.
Probably his brothers.
So probably his brothers. I doubt that Doris could tell you about them, because that would be before her time, you see.
Yes,
no, nobody's really going to be around to tell us much.
I don't think anybody left
Apart
now.
from unless there's a son around still.
Yes, unless there's any offspring around. But
but I don't know of any Blackmores left. You know, the old Mr. and Mrs. Blackmore, they lived down here, and I don't think they had any children. They were both very old then, you know. And he used to
could have been their
earn
sons.
sixpence, I think. He'd walk from here to Down Thomas with a telegram for sixpence.
Well, this could easily have been their sons.
Don't know. What's that? 1418 war.
That's First World War. First
We're
World
talking
War.
about an old man in the 30s.
An old man in the 30s. So.
What, 80, 70?
Well, my grandfather was killed in the First World War, and I was 8. I was 22 when the Second World War broke out. I don't know.
Well, it gives us a little bit, isn't it?
You've got that, haven't you, from the church? You've got those.
What we've got from the church, we've been back to all our church pictures. Well, that was the embroidery exhibition.
Yes.
That's on the chair.
Chair, yes. And that's the one with the picture.
Pictures.
Yes, I'm sure.
There's a few things. I think we probably
Could
have
even
got.
I
Yeah,
expect
pictures
you've got those.
Yeah. I think we probably have. That's one of our problems. We've got so many pictures that we've
that's something
taken.
to go through. Of course, the thing is, we've shifted so many times, and and I know when we left the shop down
We've
there,
left
I
some
wasn't
items.
very well, and they kept bringing down boxes of stuff, and I says, "Oh, put it on the fire," you know. Got to the end, and then Peter's lifted quite a lot, you know. All the things appertaining to him at school, it's gone with Peter, you know, and he's up at Chichester.
Yes, what's he doing up there?
Oh, he's head verger.
Is he?
Yeah, didn't you know? Oh,
Well, I suppose I did know, but I've forgotten.
I'll show you a piece about Peter. At Mary's just had it and taken it off with
Oh, they're lovely.
really lovely. That's my grandson. That's my great grandson, and there are the 4 generations.
Oh, lovely. Beginning for generation picture. Oh, that's super. How old is he now?
He'll be 1 in October,
Oh, really?
so he's coming on. There you are. That's all about Peter at Chichester.
Oh, he's double chins.
Oh yes, he's got quite fat.
Has he?
He used to be skinny.
Very nice.
Yeah. Yes, he sent me on a copy.
Yeah, very nice. We should have gone into Chichester when we were up there. We were up in Sussex beginning of the year.
Ah, you should have gone.
Yes,
there.
we didn't actually go to Chichester because we had been in there a while ago, hadn't we?
Well, Mary's sister or someone went up there, and she looked around the church, and she said there was ever such a nice man took us around. He was the head verger. So Mary said, "Well, if you'd only told me," she said, "I could have put you in touch with him because that's Peter." So she said, "Oh well, he was very good, very nice." So Mary, when I showed Mary that down at the coffee morning, she said, "Oh, can I have it?" And she said, "I'll send a copy to Canada."
Yeah.
So that's what she's done.
Yeah.
Oh, that's our Peter.
Yes,
So
it's
there's
nice
lots of
one,
nice
lovely.
places in Chichester. I've never been there. I'm too damned old to go now.
It's
Anyway,
quite a
too
long-
far.
quite a long way.
It is a long way. I can't get on a train. I can't get on a coach. And our car travelling days are finished. Well, we've got rid of the car because Henry can't get in and out. He couldn't drive now. So I said to him it was as well to give it up before I scraped him off the road. But it's been damned hard being without a car after
Well,
all
that's
these
right,
years.
yes.
isn't it? Just when you need it most.
Yes,
and,
that's right.
there it is. Catches up on us all. and
You
all
said you
that.
were able to go out the other weekend.
Pardon?
You said you were able to go out the other weekend.
Oh yes, my grandchildren, they're awfully good. They come, this one, he brings one car, because Henry can only ride in the front and so can I. So they each bring a car, so that Henry goes in with Mark and I go in with Sharon. And they insist. I says, "Oh no, you go on, don't be bothered." "Oh yes, you're coming, sort of thing." And they keep walloping us all. And when Nicola's down, but it's a hell of a job to get Henry into the car. But they get him in the back seat, and the son-in-law gets in and pulls under the shoulders, and Nicholas sort of guides the legs in, but Henry can't wear shoes even, his feet are so terribly swollen, you know. It's awful really, you know, but then we're still together and you know, we're okay. But
yes.
It does.
Not much fun getting old, is it?
It hurts really to see him like it.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather I was like it myself when he was well. You know.
And I think when the mind, you know, and you feel yourself, you know, your mind's active, and it's
That's
just
right.
that your body won't do what you
That's
want.
right. Oh, I get frustrated.
Yeah,
very frustrated.
Yeah.
But still, we do very well really. We've just had a stair lift put in, so that makes life a lot easier. You know, go up and down like a yo-yo now. Before I was coming down first thing in the morning and never went up until last thing at night. You know, once down, once up was my limit. But now it means that the whole house is open to you again. I got things.
Yes, my aunt's got one in her cottage at Kingston, and that certainly meant she could stay there, but she couldn't have done a long one.
Well, that's it. You know.
She's got her bone arthritis in her knees. I mean, she's had it a bit young. Bit younger, she's what, 80? Lost track how old she is now. She's 89. 1905.
Is that the one we met at the church up there?
That's right.
Yes.
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 Her son's coming down from Potter's Bar up in Middlesex or in Hertfordshire. About every 10 days. I mean, she shouldn't really be on her own, but she doesn't want to leave, and he comes down and sort of feeds her up and leaves her some food, but she's not really cooking. She's not really feeding herself properly, I'm afraid.
That's the trouble. I mean, I think I should be the same. Of course, we do it because there's Tiny as well. Tiny does a hell of a lot. You know, he does all the vegetables the night before, and I do the majority of the cooking through the week. He always cooks the Sunday lunch, does the whole lot there, because we do a huge joint, and there's more to. I'm all right with a stick, but I can't do any carrying with two hands. You see, so where he does all that, and he does all the shopping and all that sort of thing. He's very good, and he takes me up to the village hall and fetches me, and anywhere else that I want to go particularly. I don't encroach on it more than I can help, because he's got a life of his own to lead. But one way and another I do quite well. I can't really complain. But growing old is not funny. And when you're young, you don't think it's ever going to happen to you.
No,
You don't. You see all these old codgers on walking sticks and that, and you think, oh, poor old devils. Before you know where you are, you're one of them.
Exactly,
But still.
Yes, I mean, that's the trouble with doing these sort of history things. You're going back and reading about the Thompsons and all the other people that were active in things.
Oh yes, the Thompsons over at Lane End. And he was on the council. Giles was on the council, and they were both on the village hall committee. And we were up in that hall, and we had the caretaker had to carry up every drop of water we used, carry away every drop of dirty water we used, and she also had to empty the Elson's closet. And I used to say, well, why can't we get the water put up here? Oh, we can't, Mrs. Lugar. You know very well. If there was any hope at all, Captain A used to say, we've got Mr. Thompson and we've got Captain Giles on, and they're both at Plimpton RDC. They would have it put in for us right away. And that's how it went on. So it was primarily because of that we had to build another place. We sold this to the Eileen people, bloke at the top of the hill, I forget what he was called. Before he had it a week, he had the water in. So, I was furious. Really furious. But that was it. But, it was good days, really.
There was a lot going on, wasn't there?
Oh, there was something on in the village hall every night of the week. You see, we had to do that to make it pay. We had whist drives, and we had cinema on a Tuesday, and I think it was Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Saturdays it was a whist drive and dance, and the other
This is
Tuesdays
down
was whist drive.
No,
it's just here.
over here.
Yes. Well, over at Down Thomas, it was only Saturdays there was a whist driving dance, but you see, you didn't need to do anything else over there because we had the Army and the Navy, and the place was packed. You see, you couldn't get them in anymore. And then we got the ATS and we got the Wrens in as well, you see, so we were absolutely packed over there on a Saturday, and they were over here. But that kept them afloat over there. That we didn't have anything in the week, but over here it was run by a committee, and we did all these things in the week. We did old time dancing and goodness knows what, anything we thought if we tried it to see if it would go. And if we didn't make money any other way, we made it on the refreshments. So that's where the money came from. It was only in bits and bobs, you know. It wasn't big money in those days because it was a shilling to go in, and that was it, you know. The cake would cost a penny or twopence, and same with a cup of tea.
That's right.
It wasn't big money, but then no one had big money in those days. Thursday was my youth club. I ran the youth club, you see. And I ran the youth club for 10 years. And I ran the library at the village for 14 years. And I got sucked in on that. I never intended. But I used to go down to it was down at the school, and the school teachers ran it. And I had a friend called Nina Eames. And she said, "Oh, you shouldn't have to stop here and issue books after you've done a day's work with these children. Why can't someone else do it?" "Well, there's no one else to do it," says Winnie Maynard. "Well, I'll do it," says Nina. "You'll help, won't you, Beryl? There's Beryl with one child by the side of the pram and another one in the pram, you know, a baby." I says, "Well, yes, I'll help." So they go off and leave it. Well, you had to go down there, and all these books were in boxes piled up in the corner, and you had to get these and put them on the desk and open them and throw the lids back, and then you had to issue the books and sign the tickets and so on, then put all these boxes back again. Anyway, the second week we started it, Nina couldn't manage to get there, and she never did after, and I was landed. And that's it. That's how I came to be the damn village librarian. And we took it on, and then I took it from the school, and I got it done in the village hall. And because I was suffering with my tummy, I got them from Plimpton to put me up cupboards with wire fronts and locks, so that the books went in there, and then the cases went underneath the stage until they had them back. And I ran that for 14 years until I went down to Plimpton. But you got to know people, you know, and that's where I got the clientele for the WI, you see, because we weren't really allowed to start the WI, because Mrs. Burrows, who was the prime mover in this village then, and took over everything, she and 2 or 3 others used to have the village taxi and go over to Down Thomas to their WI. And we said, well, we would like a WI. "Oh, no way." So we found out about it, and you had to have so many people to start it up. So, nothing daunted, all the ones who came into the library, and they all wanted the library books, you know, we told them, so they said, "Well, yes, Beryl, we'll join, but we really can't do anything." "That's all right, we'll do the work as long as you've got your name on the dotted line, you know, one member in, you know." That's how we started it. And Mrs. Burrows worked mighty main. She even wrote to them through the WI to stop us. She said there was no need for it, there was one already in Down Thomas. So Marion Partridge wrote back and said that the distance between here and the difficulty in getting there, and we had so many members wanting a WI, and they were still very doubtful. So I said, well, there's only one way. If you can't beat them, you've got to join them. There's only one way we were going to get this damn WI. You better ask Mrs. Burrows if she'd like to be the president of the first WI. So that's what from then on it was simple. And this was in the April, that's right. And of course you do your voting in October. October she was out. We had the real president in then. So she was right off the committee. But that's the only way we got it started.
Yes, I wonder in the Down Thomas things, how people did get backwards and forwards to some of the events. I realised that they walked a lot, and I realised they probably got bikes.
Yeah.
But there was only one reference there, I think, where there was some whist driver or something, and they were sending a coach over to pick the people up from Knighton. I could only find one reference to that.
Well,
I thought, people obviously did sort of go backwards and forwards to committee meetings and things as well.
No, because nobody over here was on the committee over there. No one over there was on the committee over here.
Well, they obviously, when they had the actual memorial, when they set up the War Memorial Committee, there were people from both sides on that.
Yes,
that
was a what do you call it? But when I first came over here to live from Down Thomas, everybody commiserated with me, coming over here amongst these savages. At one time, if a Down Thomas man met a Knighton man, they fought. Yes. Oh, it was intense, the rivalry.
Yes, I mean there was a suggestion that somebody from Down Thomas Jubilee Hall Committee should go on the Wembury Committee, and they declined.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't. In any case, I don't think we would have had them. You know.
Well, they were invited, according to the minutes. They had been invited to go on.
Quite a lot of references to people living east and west of the Haybrook, isn't there? In the minutes of the village halls. You know, they're sort of dividing the parish along the line of the Haybrook.
Well, there was the Haybrook, you see, and that was all done by the Stansels. You see, Stansel bought ground from the farmer who supplied the slates, Lewis. And his boys, this is old man Stansel, not Bob, who's just died.
No, it's his father.
It was Bob's father. He had these boys, and he had them, they by hand cut out the cliff road that goes from Haybrook right the way down, and also that goes down to the sea. He had those boys doing that. And do you know how they fed a lot of the time? They used to go out and get gold's eggs. He was hard, a real hard man was the old man. And I think he gave his first wife hell. You know, when she died, he married his secretary, Myrtle. And she was a caution. She was Irish. And of course, during the war, there were we were down at Arreston that night, and a parachute came down there, which we whipped up and brought back with us. And the next time I saw Myrtle, she said, what do you think I've got? I said, no, I've got a parachute. I said, have you? Where did you get that then? Oh, they came down on such and such a night over her way, over at Lane End. So I said, well, you better keep it quiet. I said, I've got one too. I said, mine came down Arreston. Well, made knickers, night dresses, stuffed with babies and God knows what out of this, and the rope and everything. Everything was utilised. But she hadn't started on hers. But the silly fool, the policeman came around and he said, Mrs. Stansel, I've come for your parachute. She said, what parachute? He said, the parachute you picked up on such and such a night. She said, never. Oh, yes, you have, he said. She said, that Beryl Lugar told you, didn't she? He said, oh, no. He said, you told me. She wrote it in a letter to her people in Free Ireland. And it was censored. So it came around for her. So she lost hers. So I said, there you are, I said. Quick enough and accuse me. She said, if you don't shut up, I'll sit down and write another letter saying Beryl Lugar come home.
Yes, they were absolute godsend.
Oh, it was a godsend.
They were to us.
Especially I was pregnant. I was always pregnant at the time, you know. So it came very handy for babies' clothes and things, you know. We did quite a lot with that. So,
yes, there was a lot of material in them, wasn't there?
Oh, a heck of a lot. But the trouble was, you see, it was all
as an angle.
All as an angle.
Cross, wasn't it?
Yes, on the cross, you know. But
yes, I can remember having mother making a night's slipper.
All sorts of things, petticoats, everything. Yes. Oh, it made a heck of a difference. Parachutes.
Where were you living when you were running the library service?
Here.
Yes.
We'd moved down here because we were going to build. We sold half the farm with the farmhouse on, and we were going to build a farmhouse, or we wished to, just in the field where the almshouses were.
Well, this was when you were at Old Barton?
No, yes, when we were at Old Barton. And we came down here as an interim. We had this done up, not as it is now, but had it done up. as an interim until we got the house built, you see. But we were still under the National Trust ban. It was on it for 30 years. It had about 2 years to run. And Viner was the agent for that. And he was also Captain Sir Henry, you know, he was captain then. And he was his agent. And we were friendly with the butler there, so I knew all that was said, and I knew it was true. But he had Viner to a meal, and he said, "What's this I understand?" He said, "Mrs. Lugar, it was always Mrs. Lugar, never Mr. Lugar, it was always Mrs. Lugar. Mrs. Lugar intends to build a house in the field below the almshouses." So Viner said, yes, he said, build another farmhouse. So he said, "Well, that's not very nice," he said, "to look out of my window," he said, "and see Mrs. Lugar's baby's napkins flapping on the line." So he stopped it. We were refused permission. And that's why we were stuck here then. So we went on farming from here, sort of thing, walking down to because all the buildings were down at the bottom, you see. Anyway, that was it. So years after, I told Sir Henry, I said, "I remember you." I said, "Mind you, I always used to be on to him." But I think he respected me more than anybody else. And you know, the funny thing was, he'd come anywhere to see me in a play. And he always said to me, the last time I saw him, "You should have gone on and been an actress, Mrs. Lugar." He was my #1 fan. But I said, "Well, that's all very fine, but you stopped me building my house, didn't you?" "Oh, no, I didn't." I said, "Oh, yes, you did. You said you didn't want to see Mrs. Lugar's baby's nappies flapping on the line." He said, "I never said that." I said, "Oh, yes, you did, and you know very well you did."
What made you move from Gabber to Old Barton?
Because both farms belonged to my father-in-law.
I see.
And he was retiring, and he was going to come to live with us at Old Barton Farm, and he had a buyer for at Gabber, and so we thought, well, we'd have to go on with it. Dad died, you see, and he shouldn't have died. He went to hospital and had a prostate operation in the private wing at Greenbank. I went up to see him, and I said, "How are you, Dad?" He said, "I'm a lot better than you," because I was in the last stages of pregnancy then, you know, and I'd staggered up all the damn steps and stairs to see him, you know. So I collapsed on the bed, and he was in the chair, and I mean, he was quite well. The next day he was dead. There was a nurse there. She had news that her husband had been torpedoed on the boat. The boat was torpedoed. She'd lost her husband. She gave him a drug in ounces instead of drams. Killed him. But anyway, we were very upset, and they decided that we should let it go on. You know, that farm was sold, as you could say, you know, and so we kept on with the move. But this was a much bigger farm here, and also it was in a terrible condition.
Because that presumably that was you were buying it, because that wasn't
we had to buy it out of the estate then.
Yes, I see, because that was part of Wembury House estate, wasn't it?
No, that was never part of Wembury House estate. No, originally Old Barton had the manorial rights.
Yes, because we always reckon that's where the Elizabethan manor was.
Yes, that's right. And but it was a part of Thorn.
Oh yes, right. Yes,
belonged to what was she called down there? Double barrel name.
What was it? That wasn't meant to Mrs. Montefiore.
Montefiore.
Was it Seaback Montefiore?
That's right.
She was down.
She was there.
Yes, because I mean I know the names, and I always have to think who was at Wembury House, who was at Monkswood, and who was at Thorn.
Yeah.
Someone hasn't actually sort of lived through it. You've only read it, you know.
That's right. That was Seaback Montefiore. And Dad bought it when they split up the estate down there. He bought Old Barton. Damn fool. He bought any amount. In fact, they didn't really know all he had bought. But came in dribs and drabs, you know. He was,
hello. Hello.
We're all love. But anyway, we had to sort it out. But then, of course, we had to buy it out of the estate. That was it. But it was a very hard farm to start on. You know, Gabber was easy, and it was in good nick, you know, and everything was going fine. And we came over here, and we couldn't get anyone working for us, you know, over here. The only men on the farms were already taken, you know, and we had an awful job to get labour.
Well, yes, because I mean, although jobs were hard to get, there was a sort of reduced number of men around for the jobs anyway, weren't there, and the women.
And we finished up with going over to Brixton to bring home 6 Germans every day. In the end, we finished up with, we kept the 2 better ones and had them living in when we were allowed, and got it on. But the ground was in such poor condition that it had been let go so terribly. You know, it was very, very hard to do it. But we plodded on.
A long time ago, when I was working on the tourist information centre, I don't know if I ever told you, but I had a German gentleman came up, and I won't sort of make it too long-winded a story, but he in fact had been a prisoner of war at Newton Ferrers up at Colleton, on the top there, and he produced a little folder with the photographs, some snaps he'd taken of the camp and the views of the river there, and a receipt for a watch he'd bought from Richard Wigforss during the war.
Well, I know.
And he had got the copy of the letter, which I managed to get photocopied, that had arrived from the headquarters at the hotel, the Imperial Hotel at Torquay, nominating him to work. Now, what did it be? No, I think it was New Barton. The show was at New Barton.
No, shows were here, but they weren't.
I'll have a look.
No, they weren't there during the war.
Your name wasn't on.
No, because we were this side. You see, that's over that side. I don't know who was over that side.
No, it was on this side of the river. It was on the. It was one. It must be New Barton or Old Barton.
No, because New Barton was.
Perhaps I got the name wrong. Anyway, he was in fact repatriated before he came to work there. But he kept the letter, and I've still got a copy of it in amongst my bits and pieces at home. I'll try and dig it out actually, because it might be useful for the exhibition anyway. But he said he had promised his wife, he thought Newton Ferrers was so beautiful, he had always promised his wife he'd bring her back to show her. And there was this little German woman, this was back, about early 1980s this would have been, and there was this little German woman, typical sort of cottage loaf style hairdo, and she stood there and there were tears streaming down her face. It was so emotional. Unfortunately, I was working that weekend because they hadn't got a car with them, and I'd love to have sort of offered to have taken them around. But he was so thrilled to be back again. Yeah. It was a most intriguing experience, really.
Well, the bloke one of the ones we had in the house, he was Heinrich, and he was a German farmer. And when he got back, a friend of mine, she was well up in the Red Cross, and so I managed to get letters to him through the Red Cross, and he was amazed to find out he was a father for a second time. He went away and left one child, and there was another one, and they were in the English sector, but Johan, his wife was in the Russian sector. Now, he was only a youngster, and he had got married just before he left in the army, and it was marvellous in the Russian sector. They had this, they had that. The English, they no good, no good, missus. The Russians, they're marvellous people, they're marvellous people. Well, then he got a letter from his mother. His mother and his sister were following horses barefooted in the field. His wife was living with a Russian officer. That day he nearly went mad. I didn't know what, he was throwing things around the kitchen, so Heinrich said, go in. I do, missus, I do. And he told us after that that's what had happened. But anyway, he was very clever. He did ships in bottles and God knows what. And we used to have them out delivering logs. They go around everybody's dirt bins, you know, and they bring them all sorts of things, and they made a damn great windmill with an old gramophone thing. You just turned this and the wheels went around, you know. He was really very, very clever, you know. But anyway, a few years ago, he came back for a holiday and brought his wife up to Alfred Boyanet's.
Oh yeah.
And they came down to see us. And he looked around this down here and he said, "Oh, very nice, missus, very nice. More people upstairs?" I said, "Good Lord, no." So that's how they lived over there. And he was in a footwear factory. And his wife went to work as well. And I don't know whether she was the wife who lived with the Russian or whether she was another wife. I didn't like to ask. In any case, he'd lost quite a lot of the English that he'd learned, and I'd never learned any German. And but he proudly produced from his inside pocket, "There, missus, I always wear that." Out of his wallet, a photograph of me and a separate photograph of Jim as a baby with his lovely curly hair. And I said, "Where did you get that?" He must have gone through our cupboards and drawers and that when we were out and taken it. And I said, "Now I'll bet you he told everybody in German that was his floozy in England and that was his child." I'll bet.
Yeah, it could be. Could be.
But he still had it, and if I was his wife, I'd have slapped him across the chops and torn it off. But she was there when he said, "I carry it always." Oh, it was here, next to his heart. So, but, oh yes. But there we are. One of them, he was a dead ringer for my cousin's husband, and he was called Carl. My cousin's husband was called Charlie, but he could have passed as Charlie Lamble any time. But he walked in, and Alfred Boyanet's walked in. He come in, he said, when they first came, he says, "Me no Nazi, me no Nazi. Me no like Hitler, me no like Hitler, me no Nazi." I thought, creeper. Anyway, this one come in. "Me Carl, me Nazi, Heil Hitler." I says, "Me English, God save the King." And well, he was very bitter to get on with at first, very sullen. But afterwards he came around, and before he left, well, they'd fought us once, they'd fought us twice. They were going to fight us again. But when they did, he would see that we were all right. They could shoot every bloody Englishman except the boss and the missus. But and there was one boy there, one prisoner of war. He was only 15.
Yeah.
Only a boy, you know. But oh, they were with us for months. And when they left us, Henry went and bought them all a utility lighter. He gave them all 100 fags. And every day, you know, they come with their half a loaf of bread and a sausage, which was their meal for the day. And we would go off to Plymouth and buy fish and stuff to feed them with. Oh dear. I suppose we should.
Where were they in the camp? Were they at...
They were at Brixton at Kitley. No, not Kitley. Yes, Kitley Lodge, this side, the first one you come to, past the vicarage.
Oh, yeah.
The boss. Yes, in there the camp was. That's where Edna used to go out to see him and talk through the hedge sort of thing. Because she was our land girl when they were there. When they came in. But,
it all seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
Oh, it does.